I'm asking for any match at MWF's Call to Action. I've heard about it. And I mean, why wouldn't you want Vinny Wasco on the show? All the way from Los Angeles, California, right here to Boston, Mass. I don't care who the opponent is. I don't care if it's the biggest, the baddest, the best. I want anyone and everyone. Let me tell you something, David. Just like Paul Revere warned Boston that the British are coming, I'm warning Boston that Vinny Wasco is coming. Whoever my opponent is, I guarantee you, on that night, you're gonna get your daily dose of vitamin V.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans, welcome to a brand new MWF Ultra. I'm Dan Marotti, downtown Boston, Massachusetts, Cambridge. To be specific, Dr. David Reese is in town. Oscar is in town. Tony Atlas is not with me, fans. We're going to find out about that just a little bit longer tonight in the program. What we do want to remind you of tomorrow, Valentine's Day, 10 a.m. Tickets go on sale to MWF Project X Loose Cannons. It's an 18-plus event as we return to the great city of Somerville, Massachusetts for the first time since 2008. What Cam Zagami and Brian Pillman and the rest of the Uprising have in store remains to be seen, but once Somerville, Massachusetts is the place to be. Check out bostonwrestling.com for a night you're not going to forget, 18 plus. It's been a long time since we've run an event like that. Fans, also keep in mind, we're going to have big news on who's going to be joining us at WrestleCon in Tampa, Florida, George Steinbrenner Field, the spring training home of the New York Yankees. WrestleMania weekend on April 3rd and the 4th. It's going to be big. Myself, Tony Atlas, and more guest TBA. Right now, you want to talk about Project X. Brian Pillman is going to join me in studio. Sit down. You're going to get to pick the brain of the son of the late, great Brian Pillman. Fans, we come back. Be from Brian Pillman. Stand by.
The hottest new sensation on Fox, Friday Night SmackDown, is coming to Glendale and feel the thrill with non-stop action.
Big Dog is coming to protect the children.
Larger-than-life superstars.
Come see the boss take care of business.
And the unparalleled excitement of seeing it live.
Be there live and get yourself a first-hand taste of the power of positivity.
Don't miss Friday Night SmackDown in Glendale on February 21st. Tickets and ringside packages are available.
All right, wrestling fans, welcome back to MWF Ultra. I'm very happy to have in studio with me the coup de grace of the Uprising faction, along with Vicky Guerrero back at MWF Project X, a man we saw in action last week defeat Lance in Hawaii in his MWF debut, Brian Pillman Jr. Brian, thank you for having us in studio.
You're welcome. And, thank you for taking up my time today. Do you have any more questions, or can I get out of here?
Well, we'll try and make it as quick and painless as possible.
Please. Time is money, my friend.
It was, I thought, an exceptional match to put together between two hungry young athletes coming from great wrestling families. But, while you came away with the Duke, you didn't exactly do it on your own. You've been one like Vicky Guerrero and Brian Malonis of Ring of Honor to kind of take that money that Cam Zagami made off of the American Grit reality show with John Cena on Fox. And I guess it's helped line the pocket, but maybe do you think there's a better way to go about coming away successful in these matches?
Well, I think the best way to come away successful is just by having purely better genetics, and that was proven in the match against Lance on Hawaii. My family lineage just equally more successful. As I stated in the ring that night, Vicky Guerrero is in fact my biological mother.
Oh,
so,
wait a minute.
It's all in the family business, my friend, and that's how we do business. And if I come into your city, if I come into your town, I'm walking away with a win by any means necessary.
The match was outstanding. I mean, to sit through that, watch it live, then watch it again on video, an exceptional contest between the two of you. I see big things coming for Lance, but again, you're the one that had
I think that was the biggest thing that he had. That was probably the biggest match of his life. And
it's going to be all downhill from there.
I would assume there's not a bigger high point for him. The fact that he, pinned me for 2 seconds is a pretty big accomplishment, I'd say. So.
And it's all downhill from there for Lance.
Yeah, I don't foresee anything coming his way that's more important than wrestling me, at least.
Well, he lost to Shane McMahon on WWE television this year, and as he kicks off a new decade, it was a 3 count to the promised prince.
Mm-hmm.
of professional wrestling.
And I promise you that every time that match happens, interference or not, extra added faction power, who knows? I think I could take him one-on-one easy.
Well, I kind of get a kick out of the remark you made that the Pillman legacy is a little bit stronger than the Hawaii Samoan legacy that has gone on now several decades.
Also, the Guerrero blood that runs in my veins.
Well, I think maybe we're going to have to do a DNA test on this show.
It's 100% true.
It's 100% true.
Yep.
Well, sitting here now without my glasses on, you could pass as partially Spanish. I don't know.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see.
Appreciate that.
All right, Brian, we talked about it on the first episode of the new year here on MWF Ultra. We announced back at Memorial Hall we have a big event coming April 11th. It's going to be WrestleFest, the 80s, back to the decade. Some of the greats from WWF time are going to be with us live, including Jake the Snake Roberts, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, Tony Atlas, and the reaction in the locker room from the Uprising faction, yourself, Vicky, Cam Zagami, Christian Casanova, an athlete I think is really going places in professional wrestling, despite what he may do in the ring. It wasn't good. So met with Dr. David Reese, and he has allowed your grouping to put together this event in and of itself. The week before WrestleMania, Saturday night, March the 28th at Somerville, Massachusetts, more of an adult-themed environment where it's a bar and such. It's going to be MWF Project X Loose Cannons, and it's only going to be open to fans 18 years and older. Why do you want to try and perhaps limit the number of fans that could come to the event?
To be honest with you, the type of wrestling that we do that is not for children. It's not even safe for most adults.
You're not role models, that's for sure.
And if you're going to come into our show that we've put together on our rules, our time, it's going to be how we declare it. We declare 18 and up. There's going to be booze. There's going to be girls. There's going to be a lot of things that kids aren't ready to see.
Well, it's going to be an interesting night of professional wrestling. All roads lead to Tampa, Florida for WrestleMania 36. For us the week before to be in Somerville, then the week after back here in Melrose. Brian, it's going to be very interesting to see you not only expand your career in the Millennium Wrestling Federation, but the sport in general. Despite what we may have seen in the ring, you're going big-time places. I mean, you're known on your Instagram and on your Twitter, Flying Brian Jr., and then Flying Brian, I think, 41 on Instagram.
You got it.
I mean,
You did your research.
Your career is literally flying right now.
Yeah, and that's just how it goes. I came out of the womb ready to wrestle. I was born to do this. Most people can't say that. I'm sorry if that's you, if you're out there and you just can't quite grasp it. But I'm 2 years into the business and I'm already having high quality, top of the line victories after victory. So get in my way and I'll just have to plow right through you.
Now that you have Vicky aligned at the hip, did she give you any sound advice going forward?
My mother has given me advice my whole life. She's always had my support. She's always supported me in everything I wanted to do. It took me until my mid-20s to really take after wrestling and to really grab it by the reins. But no, she was always there, always very supportive of the business. In fact, I didn't want to get into the business so early because I didn't want to have to outlive her shadow. Vicky Guerrero's shadow is so big, and the expectations of being a second-generation wrestler following in the footsteps of somebody like Vicky Guerrero has put a lot of pressure on my career and the expectations for me to perform at a high level. So it wasn't until I felt that I was ready to step outside of Vicky's shadow that I got into the business.
Okay. Well, I look at the Uprising faction beyond Vicky and Cam Zagami investing that big-time money that he got from the Fox network thanks to his participation on John Cena's reality show. I ask you this. You have Slick Wagner Brown, a former two-time MWF heavyweight champion. You have Brian Malonis right now, who is a top-tier talent, not only in the MWF, but Ring of Honor. I look at where you are right now, and I look at Christian Casanova. Perhaps he doesn't have the name to go along with everything you've accomplished thus far, but Christian Casanova,
he's got a
and
great
part of
name.
the
I like
Uprising
his name.
faction,
It's a good name.
I could see him going places just like you.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous faction of athletes.
Yeah, I can't see the future, but I would imagine
We need Ellen Damsky for that.
going places means moving as a group and as a unit and taking over the world, the wrestling world. Then yeah, you could say we're going places, but ain't nobody going anywhere without me, that's for sure, because I'm leading the charge.
All right, wrestling fans, 2020 has become a very interesting place in the Millennium Wrestling Federation as we begin a whole new chapter after 18 years of action and excitement. Saturday night, March the 28th, it's going to be MWF Project X Loose Cannons. It's going to be 18 plus. If you're under the age of 18, you cannot attend. Again, Somerville, Massachusetts is the place to be. Again, you can check out Brian on Twitter at Flying Brian Jr., on Instagram at Flying Brian 41. Brian, it's been a unique experience to have you with us on the show.
Thank you. I'm glad you had a good time.
All right, wrestling fans, we'll be back after this brief timeout.
Oshkosh on Saturday, February 22nd. The biggest names of NXT come to you live. Witness this thrilling night of action featuring NXT champion Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era, NXT Women's Champion Shayna Baszler, Finn Balor, Tommaso Ciampa, Matt Riddle, Keith Lee, Bianca Belair, and more. Don't miss the show everyone is talking about. It's NXT Live in Oshkosh on Saturday, February 22nd. Tickets are available Friday, January 10th.
Wrestling fans, you get to know Brian Pillman Jr. of the Uprising. He's leading an all-star night of 18-plus only action at MWF Project X Loose Cannons, Saturday night, March the 28th, Somerville, Massachusetts. Again, adults only. Tickets go on sale Valentine's morning at 10 a.m. over on the BostonWrestling.com. Super Cypher fans, we mentioned Somerville. We're coming back. We mentioned Tampa, Florida. We're headed down as part of WrestleMania weekend. The one that fans throughout New England are talking about, and even beyond, when you look at the great pre-sale we've had thus far with the tickets. It's MWF Project X Back to the 80s WrestleFest, Saturday, April the 11th from Memorial Hall, downtown Melrose, Massachusetts. We're coming back home to our little gray castle. Live wrestling, autograph photo fan fest, VIP Q&A, a great merchandise raffle for our friends with the Special Olympics. Who's going to be there? What about WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, the greatest tag team in WWE history, Axe and Smash Demolition, my partner in crime, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas, the genius Lanny Poffo, and I could go on, but you know what? We have some big announcements we're going to make about other superstars that have confirmed to be there on April the 11th, others we're still negotiating with, like it's the hot stove season in Major League Baseball. You're going to love it. We're going back to the 80s, the good old days of the Boston Garden, one Saturday a month. Well, we wish we could do it one Saturday a month, but we're going to have our 80s reunion, fans. Keep in mind, we recently heard from him this program, newcomer from Los Angeles, California, Vicente Wasco. He wanted competition here in the MWF. Dr. David Reese has chosen to give it to him. Well, up next, Vicente Wasco sees his MWF debut, and wait until you see his opponent.
Winnipeg, a dangerous force.
The AOP, Buddy Murphy, and the Monday Night Messiah will destroy all who oppose us.
Powerful allies.
Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, the Viking Raiders.
A league of extraordinary gentlemen.
A massive 8-man tag team match.
Plus the man comes around.
And 2020 Royal Rumble winners Charlotte Flair and Drew McIntyre. It's Monday Night Raw, live Monday, February 24th. Tickets and ringside packages are available.
All right, wrestling fans, did you think in 2020 we would see my in-studio partner in crime, the Hall of Famer himself, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas, competing in an MWF ring? Well, you are. Tony's first match with us here in 8 long years as he takes on the debuting Vicente Wasco. We saw him last week on Ultra before Brian Malonis defeated the asshole Mike McCarthy thanks to that low-life scum Cam Zagami. Well, listen to the fans. They're very happy to see Tony Atlas in an MWF squared circle with that Superman-type outfit on. I love it. Tony's not done yet. He may be closer to the end of his career than the beginning, but he loves to get in there and compete. What does a newcomer like Wasco bring to the MWF? He's had success in California, Nevada, Arizona. He reached out to MWF President Dr. David Reese in regards to our call to action campaign, and here he is, and look at that. Shoves Tony Atlas into the corner. Tony may certainly have the age advantage in this one, but I tell you, Tony's still got the guns, baby. He works out 5 days a week. They're ready to fire, but again, Wasco tosses Atlas into the ropes. Well, I respect the ambition of Wasco, but I tell you this, he'd be best served to try and put the attack on Atlas and wear him down. Look at that, Atlas uses his strength, tosses Wasco to the mat. Big time hip toss from Tony. Look at him, he's on fire, baby. Make it 2. Another one. Clothesline from Tony. I love it. Oh, what we're going to talk about in studio next week. Right now, Tony trying to wear down Wasco as the USA chants are up. I love it. I legitimately have a smile on my face, but right there, Wasco with the rake to the eyes. At least that broke the hold. Punch. Side headlock applied from Wasco. Now, is this a diamond in the rough? A future superstar here in the King of Sports. Professional wrestling, time will tell. Atlas powers him up, sets him up off the ropes. Off the ropes they go. Another hip toss from Tony. Look at him move. I love it. Hip toss palooza, baby. Forget about one of those overdone super kick parties. Scoop and a slam. Wasco is down. Tony goes for the pin. Not enough to put away Wasco. Again, look at the smarts Tony uses. Going right back, trying to wear Wasco down. Wasco early on had an advantage. He did not seize the opportunity. This shows why Atlas is a veteran. This is why you need veterans like Atlas in the locker room. Although, wait a minute. Wasco going to work on Tony. Boots to the midsection. Was choking him. Get in there, referee. Get in there, referee. Come on. I don't think Tony was expecting this from the newcomer, Vicente Wasco. This is not good. Tony may have made a mistake. Trying to get back in the squared circle. He's choking him again. A very liberal 5 count from the official. Wasco, elbow to the back of the head. I tell you, the head is a hard part of Tony's body. I would go for another body part. Research the man on WWE Network if you're going to compete with him. But the choking is very smart. It's a liberal 5 count, but he's taking advantage of it. Again, if he tries to injure or break one of Tony's arms, he's not going to be able to throw too many hip tosses. Look at that right there. Now, I don't know what that was supposed to be. Oh, wait a minute. I don't know. Face first into the turnbuckle goes Tony. Twice now. Oh, wait, no. Oh, I knew this was coming. Face first goes Wasco. Make it twice. Eat some turnbuckle, Vicente Rey. Gonna see one more? Home run for Tony Atlas. Wasco on rubbery legs. Big time headbutt from the WWE Hall of Famer Tony Atlas. Is this enough? 2. Make it 3. Tony Atlas victorious on Ultra. I love it, fans. This is just a sample of what you're going to see when we go back to the 80s. Saturday night, April the 11th at Memorial Hall in Melrose.